Missed it at the first time around, I am speaking with Ben Schneider. You are a content designer here. You've worked quite a bit with Dungeons and Dragons Online, also currently working for Lord of the Rings Online, and I don't know, you're responsible for what goes up, both the good and the bad parts. And we were talking a little bit about what it takes to actually make a dungeon. So how much, let's say, coding technical skill is involved, and how much sort of cutting and pasting and I guess what some might call, like, say, Photoshop-like skills are involved.
Man, there's really just a little bit of everything involved. You can't cut and paste your way to a dungeon in DDO. In game design in general, you can't cut and paste your way to most mission content. We definitely have stuff that we carry over, and you learn a lot by doing, and you learn a lot by carrying over. I will say one thing, which is that there are so many things we have to remember. I think of it a lot like, I already used a spaceship metaphor, but I think of it a lot like flying an airplane, where to have a quest just work on a technical level, you have so many little checkboxes you have to go through. That we often, most of the designers build up our list of previous content that we know does X. So you say, oh, I really need to have a mission where you can throw stuff down a pit and we can let players, do the bounce off the things, or have a, smite volume if you run down here. And we all have, in our minds throughout all of DDO, we have these little mental maps of like, oh, I wanted to do that thing. I know I did that there 2 years ago. Let me go
Nice.
back and steal what I did there. Or, oh, I know, I know that other guy did something over there, and go back and steal their thing from them. But we still have to plug it all in and learn it all over again. So
What's your favorite part of making the dungeon? Is it building the landscape?
Wow.
Is it putting in the monsters? Is it doing sort of the story and lore, that kind of thing?
I'm a story guy, so for me, the two parts I love the most are figuring out how to just make the, and I don't mean just the words, I mean, just that experience of things happening. So for me, my two favorite parts are figuring out how it's going to go and getting excited about what kind of things I can throw at the players, because this is DDO, so our job is to throw things at you. And the other part is at the end, when it all comes together and getting to see it actually work. Hopefully, more or less the way that it was planned.
Cool. Awesome. All right, so let's see. How much does what you do in DDO also apply to what you do in Lord of the Rings Online?
Well, I've had far fewer beholders since I shifted onto Lotro, I'm afraid to say. So these are two Turbine MMOs, and they share a lot of the same DNA under the hood. So a lot of the way that we do things, the way that our spreadsheets work, the way that our world builder works, all that stuff is pretty much the same. For any of you who've played Lotro, you know that it's like a little simpler on the quest content for the most part. So occasionally we get to do some of the big fancy things that we did in DDO. But in DDO, every single dungeon is a special case, and we really craft it very much by hand. So that's really, that's something that DDO has always been able to brag about. Is really, from our perspective, the people who make it, every one of these is somebody's brainchild. As I've said before, for better or for worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. All right, so I don't know. Do you have any kind of favorite memories or funny bugs or funny stories from your time here on DDL?
Oh man, let me think about that. There was a lot that went on. I did get motion sick halfway through developing What Goes Up, because I had the floating island, the little motion camera shake thing, and I was one of the first things I put in, which was a big mistake, because I worked for weeks and weeks with the thing on my screen gently shaking back and forth in my peripheral vision. And there were a couple times where I needed to stand up and look somewhere else. Let's see. The getting to work with Ed Greenwood a little bit for the the dungeon we did with him, and the commentary and stuff was like super awesome. I felt like, you know, this is pure Dungeons and Dragons nerd territory, but I felt like I was meeting a celebrity. Jerry, you got to actually go and meet him. So you got that in spades. But,
yeah, I think we even have some pictures we're going to show.
That was a blast getting to do that. That was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Yeah, those are some good ones.
Awesome. Also, some people in chat saying that they love what goes up. Great quest, thank you.
Okay, so thanks. I'm glad you guys liked it. I put a lot of hours into it, and you know,
you suffered motion sickness.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the truth. Something. It's the truth.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks very much, Ben, for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
It's a blast. Happy birthday, guys. This was a real honor getting to work on DDO, and I hope you all have fun.
Great. Thank you very much. And also.